Hey everyone, it's Brandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. When this book opens up, it is 2575 and Katie Grant has recently broken up with Ezra Mason. And then one afternoon, their planet is invaded and they are forced to talk to each other to try to make it to one of the ships that are evacuating the citizens of this planet that's being invaded. As these ships are fleeing from the enemy, there's a discovery that a deadly plague has broken out and it is quickly mutating. So before I get into my thoughts about this book, I wanted to talk about the format of the book. There have been quite a few people talking about it by now, so I'm sure you've heard of it, but I still want to mention it. This book is told through documents, emails, IMs, interviews, medical reports, and more. So it's not the typical novel format. So here's at the very beginning their interview with some of the characters in here. Where the two main characters, this is an interview, it's like two separate interviews and they kind of blended them together. From one of the interviews is with Katie Grant and the other one is with Ezra Mason. There are schematics of different ships in here. This is one of the ships that make it. They have files. I thought this is an interesting one. There is like, I think, a couple pages of just pictures of people. It's a really interesting format. It made the book go by really fast. Once I really got into this, I flew through it. However, the format also made it a little confusing at times. I know there were a couple battle scenes and the way it was formatted, I didn't necessarily know how to follow along with it. Like this is one of the pages that I read like this. It was a lot going on. It was kind of one of those battle scenes, but there's so much going on and it's different ways. I guess it really doesn't matter which way you read it, but I feel like there might be some type of order to it, and I didn't necessarily understand completely the way they did that. And that's my only complaint about the format. But besides moments like this where there was a bunch going on a page, it was for the most part really easy to follow and I really enjoyed it and it made the book really interesting. The next thing I want to talk about are the characters. Now, although we don't get any of the inner thought processes from any of the characters, I felt like I really understood, like I really got to know, understand at least two main characters. I really understood them and I understood why they did what they did and how they reacted to certain situations. I think they did the author did a really good job of communicating or expressing their personalities through the format of this book. However, I didn't feel the same way for all the rest of the characters. So every other character besides Katie and Ezra, I felt like I didn't really know. I didn't really understand anything about them. And I didn't necessarily feel connected to them. So the next thing I want to talk about is Aiden. And I had a love-hate relationship with Aiden as I was reading this. Now, in the beginning, I really didn't like Aiden just because I felt like it was strictly a it was obviously like it was just artificial intelligence and it was following along with programming that it received. But as you see more and learn more, you start to realize that something is kind of changing. And although Aiden is following along with programming, at the same time Aiden is also adapting and kind of starting to make decisions that Aiden should not be capable of making. That's when I guess that was like the hate part of the relationship, just because honestly I was truly terrified of it. I think I like made a status on either Twitter or Goodreads, or actually both, I don't remember, about how scary the logic of artificial intelligence can be. Aiden gave a reason for why it did what it did and it made sense, and honestly, like, I agree with it, but it was scary because the fact that the computer is the one that made the decision. This program that was made was the one that made the decision, instead of bringing up the statistics and the information and then letting the people that were supposed to make those decisions. It's kind of like Aiden just took the situation into its own hands and kind of handle it the way that it wanted to. So that was the hate part of the relationship. But then as it went on, Aiden, at that point Aiden was already starting to change, but I feel like as it went on, it changed even more, and it kind of developed human qualities. And I hope that's not spoiling anything. I'm not really going to give any details on how Aiden changed in that way, but I felt like by the end of this story, or at the end of this book, Aiden had really changed. And I almost, like, I was kind of rooting for Aiden, and I felt sorry for it, and I was just like really hoping that everything worked out in the way that Aiden wanted, just because there became an awareness in this artificial intelligence that wasn't supposed to be there. Aiden is supposed to be zeros and ones coding, and that's it, and actually Aiden became more than that. So I really kind of started to feel for Aiden, which is kind of weird because Aiden was like, honest, Aiden is a character to me. Although Aiden is artificial intelligence, although Aiden is just artificial intelligence, honestly, by the end of this book, there's so much more to him, and I can't wait to see more from Aiden. I don't know, hopefully comes back around at some point. Obviously, there were hints that some stuff is going to come up probably in the last book, in the Illuminae files. My overall thoughts about this book, it was a bit confusing at the beginning. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which ship was which, who was on those ships, but once I really got a hang of that, I really started getting into the story and really enjoying it. Format makes it really easy to get into, really easy to like get through the book, and it gives you the information that you need about the story, but it also doesn't bog you down with too much. Like sometimes you can have too much extra, and I feel like it just kind of took what was necessary to convey the story, and that's what it gave you, and I love that about this. There was a lot of action in this, and there was also a lot of unexpected turns. We would get to a certain point and I would be like, okay, I think the story is going to go here, or maybe it could possibly go this way, but then it would go in a completely other direction that I wasn't even thinking about. So I love that, just because I wasn't able to predict what the story, like which way the story was going to go, and I pretty much, like, I was hoping for some things and then maybe that didn't happen and something else happened. So I was like really happy about that. I was just like, I don't know, this book gives me so much joy, even though honestly it's not like the happiest at times, but as you can see, like I'm trying to just talk and I don't want to just sit here smiling at the camera like I'm crazy. So if you can't tell by my excitement over this book, and if you haven't already seen my Goodreads review, I gave Illuminae 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was amazing. I highly recommend this to anybody who likes sci-fi or anybody who likes an action-packed book. Also, for readers looking for a refreshing story, not only a refreshing story, but also a refreshing format, just because it's not a traditional novel, as I already showed you. So if you're looking for a refreshing story, because it is, although it has some aspects of a typical YA, there are still new and exciting things about this, and I feel like in some ways this takes more risk than some of the books that I have read before. I think I said all I had to say about this book for now. I would be like really happy to discuss this with anybody. If you read it and you want to discuss it with me, leave me a comment. You can email me, you can send me something on Twitter, you can send me a direct message on Twitter. I don't care. Anywhere that you can find me that I'll answer, we could discuss this book, because it's that good. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I'm pretty sure Morgan is putting up a video review of Illuminae sometime this week. I'm not exactly sure what day, because she didn't let me know when she's going to put up a review, but I do know she plans on doing a review for Illuminae. So if she has her video up before I do, I will link the video in the description box, and if not, then just go head over to her channel. I will link her channel down below, and be looking out for that review. Sorry this video was so vague. I really didn't go into any specific details about this, just because I did want to do a non-spoiler review. Let me know how this review was down in the comments. Let me know what you think I could do better, because I'm always looking for ways to improve. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Like I said before, leave a comment down below or anywhere social media wise if you would like to discuss this with me, and also leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about how I did this review, and also how I might be able to improve my reviews. Also subscribe if you would like to see more from me.